Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Let's talk about the best performance that I saw last weekend. And let me first throw out a caveat. I've heard from and learned from viewers that Johnny Gonzalez threw down a great performance against Elio Rojas, and I haven't had an opportunity to look at that fight yet. So, with all due respect to Johnny Gonzalez, let me just concede, I have not seen the tape. I'm trying to track that down. But I did get an opportunity to see the tape of the Vyacheslav Senchenko versus Paulie Malignaggi fight from the Ukraine last weekend. And all I can say is that is a great performance. If you want to see how to neutralize a jab from a pretty good jabber in his home country, then I really encourage you to take a look at this film. Malignaggi literally puts on a clinic. Let's talk about it. You're Paulie Malignaggi. You're 5'8" and a half. And of course, your opponent knows, just from basic online research, that you've injured your right hand. Right? Malignaggi injured his right hand a long time ago. He used to have a right hand. It's not the same right hand anymore. Right? So you've injured your right hand, so you're predominantly a jabber. You don't have a big knockout punch. You don't have a 50% knockout ratio. And you're on the road in the Ukraine fighting an unbeaten fighter in his backyard. And he's taller than you, and he has a jab. And you know that since it's unlikely that you're going to knock the guy out, because the guy has never been stopped, you're going to have to dominate the fight by such a wide margin that even judges hearing the crowd cheer for the hometown fighter are going to vote for you. So of course you come out, and your taller opponent is like this. He has rabbit ears, right? He's like this. Think Vladimir Klitschko. He starts throwing his jab, right? And he's taller than you. So what do you do if you're Paulie Malignaggi? And this guy's throwing a jab, and you're the shorter guy who needs to get inside to land your jab. If you're Paulie Malignaggi, you literally turn to the side, right? Both are orthodox fighters. You turn to the side. You don't even raise your hand. What you do to make sure you don't get hit on the chin is you already, by turning to the side, have your shoulder in the way of your chin. But then you also raise your right hand. So you have your glove up like this. And then you bend at the waist. You get low, right? So the taller fighter who's stiff is literally trying to hit you, is reaching to hit you. And you're moving while you're bent, while you have your hand like this. You're moving away from the guy's jab. And as he turns to hit you, you're jumping in, countering, landing your own jab, and then getting out of dodge, right? And you're staying close enough to him, right? You're offsetting his distance with slickness, right? You're bending. So he's having a hard time finding you because your shoulder's in the way. Your hand is in the way. What's he going to hit if you bend away? And of course, you're a master at timing. So in between his lunges at you, you're hitting him with crisp jabs. Not only that, you start to blow up his eye. You work on that eye, even though Senchenko's corner has an end swell. That eye completely got blown up. What I like with Malignaggi too is literally it's a high wire act, right? He's throwing a jab. Senchenko actually tries to come over with some right hands. And Malignaggi is just trusting his body. He's just trusting his defense. And he's just rolling away from the punch, right? Many times, he's not even lifting his hands. Because keep in mind, if he lifts his hands too much when Senchenko steps forward, then he's going to be too defensive, right? He won't be throwing back the offense. So what Malignaggi is doing is literally, as Senchenko comes forward, this is slickness, right? He's bending. He's literally just bending and using the fact that Senchenko is really an upright boxer against Senchenko. So Senchenko comes, throws some right hands. Paulie just rolls and somehow is able to literally slip the punches, right? And this goes on round after round after round. Malignaggi has hints of a right hand, but it's not a dominant right hand. But the key is he's so good with his left that when he throws the right hand, Senchenko is completely unprepared for it, right? And then what I love, and I thought this really is what puts the plus in the 8+ performance, is when Senchenko's eye is so swollen that it's obvious to everyone that referee Steve Smoger is looking carefully at the eye, right? Senchenko has been dominated. The British telecast that I saw, the announcers actually are openly commenting that Senchenko needs a knockout to win the fight. So Senchenko comes out, I believe it's like the 9th round, and he tries to hunt Paulie Malignaggi, right? He understands that he needs a stoppage. Now, if you want to see a smart fighter, a guy who literally is on his game, I need for you to look at that last round, because what Malignaggi does is genius. While Senchenko tries to hunt him and comes in throwing hard right hands, Malignaggi, and I keep saying this is the way one would fight Vladimir Klitschko. Malignaggi doesn't take a step back. He actually takes a step forward. And so Senchenko is hunting Malignaggi. Malignaggi comes forward as if to say, hey, I'm right here. Then Malignaggi gets inside, uses his lack of height to his advantage, and starts going to Senchenko's body. Right? Senchenko doesn't know what to do. Believe it or not, the last round actually has Malignaggi working over Senchenko inside. It's great stuff. Senchenko can't catch Malignaggi with his right hand. Not only that, Malignaggi is smothering him. This is a Bernard Hopkins move. Malignaggi is inside his comfort zone and won't give Senchenko the opportunity to extend his arms. Right? Malignaggi even wins the last round before they stop the fight. And let me tell you, it's an excellent stoppage, because against a guy with a great jab who knows how to hit you in the face, when you have lost vision in one eye, that's just dangerous. And Malignaggi, as this fight went on, started to land more and more meaningful punches. So he now is a huge player. I mean, huge player. At 147 pounds, keep in mind, You have Amir Khan around that weight. There's always that Malignaggi Amir Khan lucrative blockbuster fight. If Khan loses to Lamont Peterson, you have Malignaggi against Peterson. Also, the champ at 154 pounds, Miguel Cotto. If Cotto pulls the upset against Floyd Mayweather, you have a Malignaggi Cotto rematch. Their first fight was actually an excellent fight. And let me just point out, too, that rematch, whether or not Cotto beats Mayweather, would be great boxing theater. Because Cotto, back then, was a hunter. He was a different fighter back then than he is now. Right? Cotto has changed his game, especially since that loss to Margarito. Cotto now is a fighter who backs up, who tries to box you. When he fought Malignaggi, he was a seek and destroy guy. I believe he broke Malignaggi's jaw in that fight, came forward, literally tracked Malignaggi down. A rematch between the two would be interesting because while Cotto certainly hits much harder than Malignaggi, and Cotto still has a huge punch, understand that many recent Cotto fights have gone the distance, right? The fights that haven't, have had some interesting circumstances, right? Yuri Foreman's knee completely coming apart on him, for example, right? But Cotto, if he tries to outbox Malignaggi, he's going to have his hands full, right? If he tries to come forward and blow out Malignaggi, that'll be interesting because Malignaggi is a more mature fighter who has, since he fought Cotto, been in the ring with some pretty big hitters, right? So keep an eye on that possible fight. And of course, there are the usual suspects at 147, right? You got Berto, you got Ortiz, you got Aiden, you got Guerrero. Let's just say 147 is in big play. The one thing I know with certainty is that Paulie Malignaggi is still in his prime, right? I myself questioned. I didn't make a video, but I myself questioned what Malignaggi was doing going to the Ukraine to fight a guy who was unbeaten with more than 30 wins, right? I thought Malignaggi was literally on a kamikaze suicide mission. Instead, he went over there, fought his best. This is prime Paulie Malignaggi. He fought his best, lifted the title, and did so really in, timeless fashion. In other words, this is a tape I'm definitely going to look at down the road when I want to see exactly how a shorter fighter can work a jab and can use angles to avoid the other guy's jab and can just show some slickness and get inside when he has to against a taller opponent. A-plus job. The tape is on YouTube. I recommend that everyone give it a look. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here on YouTube. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for watching.